of a Middletown mom accused of killing her 6-year-old son.
Brittany Gosney confessed to police that she killed James Hutchinson in February, and she was declared competent to stand trial just last month.
Now, Chris Riva joins us to explain more of what the court records show. Chris.
Well, a Butler County judge ordered the psychological evaluation for Gosney when she tried to change her plea to insanity defense. Now, the exam was conducted over a 2-day period in April. Gosney is accused of taking her 3 kids, trying to abandon them at a park. She told police that her son was killed when she ran him over and he was trying to get back into the car at the time. They took the body and then dumped it into the Ohio River.
The 12-page report revealed that Gosney's thoughts were, quote, logical and coherent, suggesting she's capable of testifying relevantly if necessary. Fox 19 legal analyst Mike Allen says little from this report will likely be used during her murder trial.
I don't ever remember a case in a trial where something from the competency report was used. Where it will come in handy, though, is in sentencing. It gives the judge an idea of what this person's all about.
The report did give details into Gosney's past. Gosney told the evaluator she tried to give up her parental rights, giving up Hutchinson and his siblings, but she was met with, quote, barriers. Gosney also revealed she gave birth to 4 children, the first at the age of 12, when she says she was sexually abused. That child was given up for adoption.
The test was done originally for competency, and Dr. Dreyer found, not surprisingly, that she is competent to stand trial. She can understand the role of the prosecutor, defense counsel, a judge, a jury.
Allen explained that there are differences between competency and her plea of insanity. They're not interchangeable.
2 separate things. The first thing that you talked about is competency, and that's knowing the roles of the people in the courtroom, judge, prosecutor, defense counsel. Insanity is a different matter where basically you have to know what's right and what's wrong. It's a defense that's rarely used, and when it is used, it's even less rarely granted.
Gosney has waived her right to a speedy trial. She'll be back in court May 24th, guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm really sorry, guys. Part of the reason why I was late, my dang camera is just on the fritz. I don't know if it's the camera. I don't know if it's StreamYard with my camera or what, because I'm going to be real pissed if I go out and buy a new camera. And what I can do, though, you know what I'm going to do? Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. I'll just use my shitty I'll just use my crappy webcam on my computer. That's terrible. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that at all. Hell no. So much for that, guys. So anyway, yeah. Oh man, this coffee's good. So welcome, guys. And Just Larry is in the house. Guys, if you are not subscribed to Just Larry, go ahead and subscribe to Just Larry. He's got a cool little channel. He's I do not envy my man right now as far as and I'm only laughing because I've been there, dude. I have been there, I promise you. But I do enjoy his channel, actually. Somebody compared me to him, and then I was like, who is this dude people are comparing me to, man? So I went ahead and checked him out, and yeah, he's a good dude. I'm sorry, man. It's just like watching. It's like when I listen to Just Larry talk, I'm just like back there. I wish you could see my facial expressions right now, because I just be like, I just be hanging back going, dude, I feel you, dude. I feel you. It's super funny. Dude, I've been there, man. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, Just Larry, dude. You seem like a pretty resilient dude, and a pretty logical dude that's not going to let mundane things get under your skin. So just keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing. So so yeah, we're gonna talk about Brittany Gosney, who is on trial for murdering her little boy James Hutchinson, Little Hutch, as I like to call him. The story is Little Hutch. The story is that for those of you who are just joining this channel, and those of you who just recently subscribed, I appreciate you. So thank you. So yeah, the story with her goes that she and her boyfriend James Hamilton were basically trying to abandon the kids, and he basically told her, hey, get rid of those kids. He's not the father of any of those kids. He's just her boyfriend. And yeah, this dude, for those of you who've been following this case with me, you know that I'm of the opinion that homeboy had a lot more to do with it than the way she said it. Because what she says, her story is that she took the 3 kids, dropped them off to abandon them at a park that she used to take them fishing at. And Anna Brown, I agree with you, definitely drugs involved. So she drops them off to abandon them, and apparently, according to her story is that Lil Hutch grabbed onto the door handle as she was driving away, and she dragged him along and ran him over. Later on, coming back to the scene to pick up the other kids, and to retrieve Little Hutch's body. Once she got home with the body, she and James Hamilton placed his body in a spare bedroom for about 48 hours before they allegedly dumped the body in the nearby river. So now the issue with this, the reason why I've come to the conclusion that I feel that this man, James Hamilton, has more to do with the crime is because there's no evidence at the scene where Brittany took the police. There's no evidence at the scene to indicate that her story is true. So I mean, there would be blood, there would be something, you know, there'd definitely be some trace of him. And now the other kids must have had a good idea, because another detail that I'm leaving out is they allegedly had hogtied all 3 of the children for a very extended period of time before the attempt to abandon them. And let's try to refrain from naming names in the chat, guys, please. I would really appreciate it. So, yeah, this case is really, really infuriating. And so this woman, she decides she's going to plead insanity, right? She decides to take an insanity plea. She's recently evaluated, and the evaluation determines that she is competent to stand trial. So the insanity plea is going out the window. She's not getting granted that. And I tried really hard. I didn't have a lot of time, and I've tried really hard to actually find the redacted evaluation, which is made public. It has been made public, and Nicole H has been helping me out a lot with information because she's following this case extremely closely. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna find at least maybe an article where I can read some of the details on that. But I think that the most disturbing part that we're hearing about this is that she actually has given birth to 4 children, according to her. Now, I don't even know how much of this is true, but she states that at 12 years old, she had a baby as a result of SA, and she gave that baby up for adoption. And for this, I do feel for her if this is true, but that by no means excuses her actions in the slightest bit, in my opinion. I think that she is exactly what I stamped on her face in the thumbnail. She is absolutely an asshole, and she needs to rot in prison, because whether or not, this is the thing, people, okay? And I say this stuff all the time. I always say this when we're talking about victimization. I'm not quite as tolerant of victims as most people are. And the reason why I say that is because I believe that once you're victimized, once you're victimized, somebody does something to you against your will that you had no control over. That is a horrible thing, and that's definitely an excuse for how you tend to move forward a little bit here and there. But after a certain time, after a certain point, it becomes up to you as to how much you allow your victimization to control your life. Because here's what it boils down to. The point that I'm making with that is, yes, it's tragic and horrible that she is a survivor of this horrible thing that we talk about here a lot. And we try to create awareness for and avoid it. Jen K, thank you. Welcome. It's definitely something that we try to avoid. But I mean, you know, but these little kids, these 3 kids that she tried to abandon and killed one in the process, why should they have to pay for her suffering? This is why, people. This is exactly why I say that once you're a victim, it is up to you as to how you allow your victimization to dictate your life. I'm not saying it's easy. And I know it sounds as though I'm not being empathetic, but the thing is empathy can only go so far. And this case is proof of that. This case is proof of that. If we're looking at this on terms, if we're looking at this in terms of wow, this is so, you know, it's so sad that someone who is a survivor of SA from the age of 12 years old, well, you know, and then we start making excuses for their behavior. Well, then this is no different. This is no different. So I don't cherry pick as far as like how people deal with their victimization. I don't cherry pick on that. You know, like, it's no more an excuse to yell at someone and insult someone because you're traumatized over your victimization. It's no more okay to do that in terms of allowing your victimization to dictate your life as it to me as it is to punish someone innocent in the process. I mean, I'm not saying that it's just as bad to treat someone poorly as it is to murder your own children or abandon your own children. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that both actions come from the same place, and both actions come from the place of someone who is not taking accountability of their own life and doing what they need to do to survive and make their environment better. Those kids deserve to have a loving household. They didn't ask to come in this world. That's the thing about these kids. We need to pay attention to this, and we need to keep this fact in our minds. We need to keep this fact in our minds. I mean, we you know, we can't let these things that get to us, that happen to us, dictate us. Because here's the other thing about that. The other thing about allowing your victimization to dictate your actions throughout the rest of your life. Well, if that happens, well, then the person who victimized you won. They beat you. See, I'm too proud to live with that, man. I can't. Once I come up with that logic, no, because if I allow these things to affect my life and affect the people in my life, these things that have happened to me, the person who victimized me in the first place has beaten me. They've won. Because what they've done to me is so effective that I've allowed it to affect everything else in my life. That's exactly right, Susan. That's exactly what I'm saying. And that's not to say, that's the thing is when I say things like that, the way you worded it, Susan, a statement like that, if you give in to what happened to you, you give your abuser the power, which is absolutely true. I just refuse to live with that. I refuse to let that happen. So, and it's not coming from a place of not empathizing with a victim. It's coming from a place of actually cheering for that victim, rooting for that victim. I want you to beat this and get over it so that you can have a happy life. Because if you let this destroy your life, man, whoever did this to you, they got to you, man. They won. So no, Brittany Gosney does not get a pass from me because she suffered as a child. For that, well, then I guess we give Edmund Kemper a pass because he suffered as a child. I guess we give Charles Manson a pass because he suffered as a child. I guess we give Ted Bundy a pass because he suffered as a child. I guess we give John Wayne Gacy a pass because he suffered as a child. Nah, man. Nah. She needs to pay for what she's done. That's got nothing to do, in my opinion, that's got nothing to do with what her responsibilities to those kids were. And one of these days, I'm going to get a hold of that. And then we're going to pick that apart. We're going to put this, we're going to blast this fool out on Front Street with all of her personal psychological crap. As soon as I can get a hold of that thing, I'm going to go over it. I promise. But I cannot find it anywhere. I don't know how to get a hold of it. But it's public record apparently because the judge ruled that it would be. So it's good news in the sense that, she's not going to pull this. I mean, not being smart enough to understand the law in full detail. Awesome, Nicole H. Thank you. Not fully understanding the law in full detail the way a lawyer would. Well, that's not enough reason to plead not guilty by reason of not being competent to stand trial, by reason of insanity. That's not, stupidity does not count as insane. And speaking of which, I'm going to use this to transition over to Letitia Stock. Let's talk a little bit about Letitia Stock. Let me find something here because some fun little updates as far as she's concerned. Thank you so much, Letitia Stock, for making this trial entertaining for us. Because I mean, that's the thing. I love that. I love that. Hold on. Sorry about that. I love that Letitia Stock, as angry as this case makes us, she makes it so much fun to hate her. She makes it so much fun. So I'm very grateful to Letitia Stock for at least being that much of a douchebag to where I get to hate her for what she's done to this boy. So I'm trying to find the judge's statements because the judge said some funny shit. And I'm trying to, it's hard to find something on it though. I don't know why it's so hard to find. Okay. I think I found the quote from her. So Al So she doesn't even show up to the divorce hearing, which I guess just automatically grants this dude a divorce. So thank goodness this dude is finally divorced from this woman. He's quoted in saying, just the fact that I don't have to think about this anymore, that is done. That it's done is a huge weight lifted.
Add 1 chili cheese pup to any Crystal meal for just one.
Hold on a second. Am I? Shit, I thought I was kicked off for a second. Okay. Yeah, so so I'm going to read this right here. When Judge David Miller entered the courtroom, he began by addressing Letitia's mental competency. She has had 2 competency evaluations completed in her criminal case, one of which Judge Miller called the most thorough he's ever seen. The reports showed no significant symptoms of mental illness. He said he reviewed the evaluations to see if his impression of her theatrical performance, quote unquote, was corroborated by the reports. Judge Miller described the behavior he observed from Letitia, saying it was like no other detachment from reality he has ever seen. He mentioned a time when you guys are going to love this. He mentioned a time when she was in an empty room, but said it was full of people. Judge Miller also claimed he watched her chasing what seemed to be invisible butterflies. He compared her actions to the Three Stooges. The judge believes she was feigning mental illness and decided that she is competent to proceed in her criminal case. And she is competent to proceed in the civil case. We'll press on, Judge Miller, said Judge Miller. So this is all in the divorce hearing. So during this hearing, Al and his attorney explained letters they say Letitia wrote to them. Apparently, Letitia claims she has a book publishing deal and Poshmark account. I don't know what Poshmark is. Al's attorney said Letitia expects to be exonerated and plans to write a book on her experiences. Letitia also states in the letters that she plans to file a civil suit when released. According to Al, she's done a lot of things that people might question her about. None of it surprises me at this point. I mean, you married her, dude. You know, I mean, I'm not even trying to lie. Like, you come on, man. Like, here's the thing. I don't blame Al. I mean, there's other creators out there that like it really disgusts me because they actually blame this dude and say he's just as responsible for Gannon's death as Letitia, which I think is disgusting, honestly. But the fact though is that this dude, you know, I mean, you can't sit here and say all of a sudden now that you're, you know, well, none of it surprises me at this point. Like, what were you, like, just never there? I mean, I realize the guy left town a lot for work, you know. I realize the guy left town a lot for work, and he's serving in our military, so I'm grateful for his service as far as that goes, for sure. But I mean, dude, how are you going to have a woman like this with your kids? I mean, you can't. That's just. There's no way. I can't imagine being attracted to this person. I can't imagine a level of which I'd be attracted to this person. I can't imagine a scenario in which I'd be attracted to this person. I can't imagine drinking at my heaviest and being attracted to this person. Makes no sense to me at all. And you know, and now he's just kind of like, You know, with all the things that she said and done, none of it surprises me at this point. Dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my man, I just hope moving forward he has better taste in women. You know, I just hope moving forward he does. And I don't know anything about Landon, really. I've had some very pleasant exchanges with her via text message, but I mean, just enough to see that I'm dealing with a grieving mother of a murdered child. Well, AJ McCleary, Al Stock is in the National Guard. I don't know exactly what he does, but he is required to leave town quite a bit. Quite often. It's just part of his job. So I'm not, I'm not going to sit here. I mean, this guy loves his kids, I'm sure, and he misses his kids. So I think it's really fucked up to say that he's just as responsible. I mean, having bad taste in women is not the same thing as having a hand in your child being brutally murdered. I mean, so let's see, what else did he say here? Let's see what else was addressed. A handful of firearms was one category of possessions addressed at the hearing, which makes perfect sense. I mean, the guy's in the military. I have no doubt that he had a collection of guns in the house. The guns are currently with investigators. Al asked for, of course, because one of the things that Gannon was killed. I mean, one of Letitia's charges involves the use of a firearm. So we believe, and this was added on after Gannon's body was discovered. So I believe that Gannon was shot with one of the guns in the house, and I'm sure that the police all have all of the guns from the house to figure out which one was actually the murder weapon, or one of the murder weapons, because there are, according to her charges, basically. According to her charges, her charges indicate that she shot, stabbed, and bludgeoned him to death. So Al asked for the discretion to destroy any gun that may have been used in his son's death. Among the counts filed by prosecutors against Letitia, 3 of the crimes of violence are the use of a firearm, blunt object, or knife related to first-degree murder. The exact weapon has not been revealed to the public. So we're going to find out a lot of stuff in this trial, man. This trial is going to reveal a lot. And we haven't even gotten to the fact that now, since Letitia's library rights, or her library privileges, have been revoked, she can no longer do her own homework to represent herself in court, which is what she adamantly requested the judge to allow her to do. And now she's asking for counsel. Now, I spoke to an attorney today. I spoke to an attorney that I will be having on this channel at some point, hopefully. He's just a member of the club I work at, and I knew he was an attorney, but I didn't know what kind of attorney. And he mostly does civil litigations, but he also does some criminal, and he has represented people. He is also a licensed defense attorney. So I asked him about Letitia because there were some serious questions that I had about this case. And first of all, I asked him if it was a violation of her rights to deny her privileges in the library. And he had to really think about that. He wasn't sure. But because the way that I saw it, now it was really weird because I didn't get a straight answer out of him, because I was like, well, it seems like that's a violation of her rights. And he says, yeah, you know, I mean, and then I was like, I said, but at the same time, though, it seems like the judge was very clear about, as far as his warnings going forward, as far as having to represent yourself. So you have to be able to present evidence. So here's the thing. Let's say it could be a violation of her rights. Let's say that it is an absolute violation of Letitia Stock's rights to not be able to access the library to where she can do her own research to defend herself in court. Well, technically, yeah, but at the same time, the irony in all that is she has to know how to present evidence. This is why we have lawyers, people. This is why it's better to have a lawyer to represent you than to represent yourself, because you don't know what the procedures are unless you've gone to law school. You don't know what the procedures are to present this evidence to a judge. She has to file a motion. Saying, I need access to the library. Now, the judge could probably be nice and just overlook it and say, you know what? That is a violation of her rights, and I'm not going to let that happen. She needs access to that law library. But at the same time, she was warned. She was already warned, hey, this is why you need a lawyer. And so the judge could just be like, well, I mean, too bad. I told you. It was dumb of you to fire your lawyer. Now Letitia's saying, I want a lawyer again. She's asking the judge, okay, well, now I need a lawyer. Can you give me another lawyer? Right? Now, here's the thing about that is I asked this attorney this question. I said, well, once she has already waived the right to an attorney, does she still have the right to an attorney if she asks for one? And he says, well, yeah, she does, but it's not the same thing. She has to file a motion to the judge. She has to officially request it through the proper channels now. And if she doesn't do that, now I hope that I'm explaining this the way that he explained it to me. I'd rather have him on here to explain it to you directly, because I could be misquoting him and I don't want to do that. But yeah, the thing is she could file that motion, but the judge could very well deny the motion and say, hey, you had your chance. Too bad. I'm not going to keep wasting the court's time by finding you representation that has to somehow catch up on your case. Because again, it's not just her that has the right to a speedy trial. The people have a right to speedy justice. Thoroughly, but still speedy, wasting no time, moving forward, getting things moving. Yeah, you can't write a note to the judge. That's not how it works. Like, and that's the thing. This is why you need an attorney, man. It was the same thing. I remember when I was filing well, actually, my ex filed for custody of my son against me. And so I called an attorney to get a consultation because I had no money for an attorney at the time. And I called for a consultation and I said, well, why? I mean, I have a stack of evidence. This woman is delusional. Like, Letitia actually kind of reminds me of my ex, but my ex is actually much prettier. And she hasn't killed anybody yet. So, but she now, but as far as being so delusional to think that she has this, that she can just do what she does the way that she's doing it, you know, like, that's what's mind-blowing about Letitia and makes it actually kind of entertaining. And both, by the way, have shown up to court. Like, my ex and her showed up to court in a wheelchair. So so it's actually kind of ironic. It's kind of funny. But yeah, she's not. Yeah, I asked this attorney for a consultation, and the way that he explained things to me, because I was like, dude, I've got this woman thinks that she has all this evidence against me, when the exact same evidence that she plans on using against me is the evidence that I plan on using, because she's so delusional. She thinks that it works in her favor. I'm like, all a judge has to see is the emails that we've exchanged between each other. Cause I'm not stupid, you know. When it came a time where I knew that I was going to end up in court with this woman. And so I decided no more phone calls. From now on, we communicate only through email, because I wanted everything that she communicated to me in writing. So, so I'm sitting here going, I got tons of this stuff, man. And this attorney tells me, well, he's like, you could have all the evidence in the world, but there are procedures in how to present that evidence and what evidence can be admissible, so on and so forth. You don't know how to present that evidence. You don't even know the first steps of how to go about filing a motion. And that's how things have to get done in court. You need an attorney for that. So you have the right to represent yourself, but it's never a good idea. It's never, ever a good idea. And yeah, and Lokum, I agree with you. She is dragging all of this on and on and on and on. It's ridiculous. It is all a game to her, but she believes this shit. See, that's the thing, is I think that she believes that she's going to get out of this. And I think she believes that she's going to write a book and have it published. I mean, but that's the thing, is she and so in order to act crazy, what is she doing? She rolls up, she literally rolls up in the courtroom with a wheelchair, and she's sitting in an empty room acting like it's full of people, and she's and she's pretending to catch invisible butterflies. I mean, dude, what an asshole. I mean, seriously, this woman is unbelievable. I mean, and that's, yeah, the fact that she thinks that she's writing a book, she is that full of herself. She's that self-serving. Yeah, I mean, I would think so in theory, right? I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer, but Mrs. R&B, you're making an interesting point here. I think when you choose to represent yourself, you waive the mistrial aspect. If you go for mistrial based on poor representation, yeah, you can't. that's screwed. You can't. Yeah, you can't claim mistrial now. Oh yeah, this thing, I think after this trial, this is going to get a lot of attention. I think that there's going to be ridiculously crazy behavior coming from her during this trial consistently, because so far trial hasn't even really started. Really, and she's and it's one crazy thing after the other, and she doesn't get to say that she's crazy. It's hilarious. Like, do you really think with all the evidence that law enforcement has against her, because I guarantee they have an airtight case against her. I guarantee it. Just from what we know from the original redacted affidavit that there was a new one after Gannon's body was found. The original one before his body was found. I mean, the evidence stated there was more than enough. It was clearly more than enough. Yep. Yeah, I was just in Scott Reich's chat. He was live earlier, and he was laughing at how everyone was correcting him on mispronouncing Duggar, because he was saying Duger like I was saying. And everybody got on his case because he was saying Duger. And like he said something really funny. He was saying that he actually mispronounces names on purpose in court when he has like some sort of expert on the stand, because it really it gets on their nerves. So like that just gives you a little peek into like the psychological games, the head games that lawyers play with people on the stand. Which I thought was hilarious, because he would just to annoy the expert on the stand, he would get their name wrong on purpose. It makes me laugh so hard. I was cracking up when he was saying that. Yeah, man. If you guys haven't joined Patreon yet, man, I would love it if you did. Patreon is super fun. So far, we've been having a great time. And there's always just a few more people each time. And I love it. So, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to talk about next Patreon. Some are asking me to talk about John Benet Ramsey. I've seen a little bit. I've talked a little bit about that case. Well, I've looked into that case a little bit, but I've never talked about it really on this channel. But I don't know how interested I am in covering that case. I feel like it's just going to frustrate the hell out of me is what it's going to do. but most people think the brother killed John Benet Ramsey and that the parents basically covered up for him. Because they didn't see the sense in losing 2 kids, which is a pretty sound theory, honestly, considering I know hardly anything about it, but the very little that I do know. A-Gate, that's exactly what I do, actually. So with Patreon, what I do is I create the live through StreamYard like I'm doing here. And then I post the link in Patreon and I have it set to unlisted. I have the live set to unlisted. So only those who have the link can access the live stream. So you have to watch for your notifications from Patreon, or look, and you have to actually go on Patreon to get the link, because I'll have it posted in Patreon. So you'll have to get the link from Patreon. And I only have like 20 Patreon members, and I had like 30 views. So that means people were sharing Patreon link, and that's a big no-no. If I find out anybody's doing that, I'm going to yank you. I don't need your money that bad. My patrons, they pay for Patreon to have exclusive access. It's not fair that other people bootleg that access. It's not fair to them. So anybody who's caught doing that, in defense of other Patreon members, well, I'm just going to pull you. I don't need that. And then once the live is over, it goes private. I just turn it over to private. All right, I'm going to open up panel. See if anybody wants to come on here. Discuss Letitia or Brittany. And yeah, and for those of you who've been giving super chats, I really appreciate it. PayPal too, I appreciate it. I definitely prefer PayPal because I get that right away. I have to wait until YouTube is ready to pay me for those super chats, and that's kind of annoying, really. But and honestly, like I said, if you just come here just to watch the stream or just to lurk, man, that's cool too. I am definitely grateful for any way that you choose to support the channel. Even if it's just watching and logging on. Wait, who's saying I shouldn't have a Patreon? Who's saying I shouldn't have a Patreon? Oh, Julie Witcherman. Julie Witcherman, man. And I think the point she's making is, I wasn't monetized before, and I never gave a shit about money before, but now all of a sudden I do, and blah, blah, blah. And it's not even that, man. Like, I realize that some people prefer, yeah, no, Julie Witcherman, you're always super supportive. Some people just prefer to show their support monetarily, man. I used to just be like, why though? I don't deserve it. But when so many people were kind of asking for it, then I was like, you know what? I might as well just play the game, man, and do this the way it's done. Truth is, I really don't give a shit. I have a job. I don't need the money. But you know what I might do? So Save Robbie and Mexi are having like a meet and greet type deal in July. And I don't see being able to afford that trip by then. So I'm thinking about raising money so that I can go out there for that and hang out with Mexi and Save Robbie and Molly Go Lightly and whoever else is out there. All right. Aaron is now a Patreon. Thank you so much. Well, I look at it like this. What's funny is Tart with a Heart, you say that I give you my time. Sure, that's one way to look at it. But the way that I look at it is you guys give me your time. Thanks, Phantasmagorical. Julie, I'm in Tennessee and we're all supposed to be meeting in Denver. And Save Robbie mentioned, he was like, let's start a fund for the Glare to come out here. And first I was like, I don't know about that, man. Meeting a bunch of YouTubers in person, but then I realized like who it was. And I was like, man, that would be actually really cool. Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I'm a terrible businessman, dude. Like people ask about merch too. I mean, I could make merch, I guess. Oh yeah, Cherry K Cherry K has a Discord for Patreon members, which I mean, I guess I should probably be part of that or something. I just yeah, I'm really weird about having contact with people outside of my live streams because I'm quite traumatized actually from interactions that I've had with people. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like maybe I'll stop in some of those Discords, maybe. But yeah, make sure to get with Cherry K. If you are on Patreon or you just joined Patreon, so that she can give you access to that Discord and you guys can interact with each other in Discord. And I actually love that she's doing that too, because this way my Patreon members will know when I'm going live. Well, Phantasmagorical. That's never gonna happen. That's never, ever gonna happen. The only reason that I agree that I think it's a good idea to do what Save Robbie's talking about is just because I've literally never had any issues behind the scenes with anybody involved in this thing. And so I Save Robbie and Mexi have pretty much earned my trust as far as that goes. So and Molly Golightly's a very well-known creator, so I figure that's pretty safe. But yeah, I'm not setting up a meet and greet with subscribers. If I don't even want to give my email out here, I'm not setting up an in-person meetup with subscribers that I don't know personally. That sounds like a bad idea. Dude, listen. When you act a fool the way that you did, okay? I know, Phantasmagorical. I know. But man, I can't tell you how many times like I ended up thinking that somebody that's in my chat was really cool because they leave cool comments and they seem real sensible and logical and all this sort of thing. And then you start talking to them in private and then the crazy comes out, and I just do not need that, man. I don't need that. Yeah, and I think an in-person interaction with Robbie and Mexi and Molly Golightly would be so much fun. Holly Love. Holly Love is awesome. Yeah. None of that sounds appealing at all. I mean, meeting you would probably be cool, but I'm not getting my face painted, dude. What does that mean? The hell does that mean, Julie Witcherman? Talking about I'm afraid of meeting you because it would ruin what I've imagined. What were you afraid to find out that I'm like 5'1"? Bobby Pin, I have a PayPal. PayPal membership, I don't know nothing about that, but I have PayPal. The mods drop it in the chat frequently, actually. Yeah, that's the truth. I'm 5'2", actually. Yeah, it's a mess, man. Look at that. I got a squeaky chair, messed up camera, got trip I can't afford. And yes, if you're on Discord, add Cherry K. Caleb, I went over this already, bro. Okay. It's not my fault that you can't untie yourself from a bedpost fast enough to get to a computer or a phone. It's not my fault. Get it together. Get with the rest of us. No, she's no longer she's been in jail. She got evaluated twice. She's been in jail for a while. And now they're taking away her privileges to represent herself, or taking away her privileges in the library, so that she can thoroughly represent herself, which she would have never done in the first place. You look at the circumstances as to why she can't use the library. Well, I mean, they're pretty valid reasons. So, You know, she's just going out of her way to make everything difficult for everyone else. What makes things convenient for her, what's convenient to her, is to make things inconvenient for everyone around her. Thanks, Holly Love. I'm glad you stopped in. It's good to see you. Yeah, Summer Holt, Patreon just basically gets you exclusive streams where we just kind of sit around, have adult beverages, and I discuss retro true crime cases. So far, I have talked about Edmund Kemper, I have talked about the Toy Box Killer, and I have talked about Casey Anthony. Tart with a Heart, I haven't even looked into it. I just kind of decided today that I think it would be an awesome thing to do because it's like the first week of July or something like that. So it's a little less than 2 months away. So I honestly don't know. I haven't really looked into how much it's going to cost. Hey, SC Johnson, thanks. On this channel, Summer Holt, it's absolutely better because I'm trying to upload images for the emojis and it never works out. I had this great idea that I was going to have emojis of NK, Amber Heard, and they wouldn't let me do it. Even an emoji of my little thing up there in the corner, in the right hand corner there, my little icon. So yeah, I mean, the only thing that I've come up with as far as memberships and what I'm going to be doing with memberships here is I'll have members only. I'll have members only streams where I just troll people that had it coming to them. and they won't get to comment. I would never troll my queen, Cherry K. Never. Hey man, I I was so upfront about memberships. I'm like, I don't even know how it works. I just set it up because I can. I mean, basically, when you join the membership, what you're doing basically is just consistently supporting me. Yeah, it's fun, Aaron Thurman. I don't know how often I'm going to be actually drinking when I do these things because I don't like drinking as often as I have been, honestly. Hey, Nicole H. Thank you. And Mary Quite Contrary is now a Patreon. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that too, Tart with the Heart. I think it would just be so fun. I mean, I don't think that's the case, Summer Holt. I don't. I mean, um, every creator has their own like. Every creator has their own like stuff that perks that come with their memberships. They kind of run their memberships and Patreon their own way. So it's not necessarily the case that you're just paying for emojis. I would try to look at it from I would try to look at it as just showing support on a consistent basis to the channels that you really like. And the emojis are just a little bonus. So Anna Brown has unsubscribed. I mean, unsubscribed from me. And if that's the case, I'm sorry you didn't get out of this channel what you hope to get. Sorry about that. Yeah, there were some people that joined my Patreon and then left Patreon. I think maybe that's what Anna's talking about. A few people did. So, I mean, yeah, that's possible too. Nicole H, I love you too. Don't you love when people do that? I'm not even sure if that's exactly the case what Anna Brown's saying, but don't you love that? People just feel the need to let you know. I'm done. I'm leaving. This is not what I expected. People get all butthurt over God knows what. Oh, thanks, KH. Appreciate it. Nothing's happening, Janessa P. We're just chilling out. We're hanging out. I gave some updates on Brittany Gosney and Letitia Stock. If you guys didn't catch, go catch the replay. If you didn't catch 10 to Life's live earlier, she had a great live. It's her birthday today. I mean, I'll call you Karen if you want me to call you Karen. If I can remember that. I'll probably just keep reading what I see, though. I hope that doesn't bother you. Thanks, Janessa P. Love you, too. See, thank you. Thank you for announcing. I need to know this. I mean, like... I mean, let's not be mean to Anna Brown. I don't know what her story is. I must have said something to Nicole H. Nicole H has got jokes. That's another thing, guys. When I'm one of the reasons why I took so long to come on here too tonight, I was a little busy trolling Annie in text message. She's so she always gets on my case because I don't give her a heads up, because she doesn't always get notifications. So she wants a heads up for when I go live. But it's her birthday, and she mentioned on her live that her sister was coming over and they were going to have a nice little thing going on. She's going to spend some time with her husband and family. And so, you know, I sent her a link, and I sent her a, yeah, see y'all out here jumping to conclusions on Anna Brown, and all she was saying is that she's poor and she can't afford that shit. Dude, straight up, I'm not a member of anybody's Patreon. That's part of the reason why it took me so long to set up Patreon, because I didn't know anything about it. I'm not subscribed to everybody through Patreon, and I'm not a member through anybody on YouTube. So yeah, I'm not faulting Anna Brown for that in the slightest bit. So I mean, yeah, nobody's mad at you that you left Patreon, man. That's okay. I understand. I'm just glad that you're here. I hope you enjoy the channel. And yes, your comment was about Annie, not Anna. I know. That was what was really funny. Yeah, so she's like, "Oh, great." You know, I send her the link, and I tell her, "Hey, I know you're spending the time with your family. It's your birthday, but just letting you know that I'm going to be live at 7:30 your time," which turned out to actually be 7:45 her time. But well, tonight I'm drinking coffee, Summer Holt. But so I sent her the link in a text message, and I was like, "Hey man, it's cool if you don't." And during her live, the first thing that she says is, she's like, "Dude, every birthday, I'm so sick of it. Everybody's May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you." And I'm like, it's and I completely agreed with her. I was actually probably going to rant about that on my live, and then she did it, because I can't stand that. I think it's, first of all, I'm not even a Star Wars fan. I like some Star Wars stuff, but the fanboys of Star Wars always freak me out. I'm just like, I don't understand why you're so into this. It doesn't make any sense to me why people are so into it. Like, I get liking it, you know, but Star Wars for me, when I was a kid, I loved it, and then I grew up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying somebody's immature if they like Star Wars. That's not what I'm saying. Just because I don't think that Star Wars is that great, you know, and people, just because May the 4th, you can take May the 4th be with you out of that, and it makes this little clever little play on words, and that's literally all it's for. It has nothing to do with Star Wars other than that. And it's all over the place, and I can't go on social media without having that blasted in my face all day long. And I'm just like, ugh. So yeah, it's a super, super nerd thing. And I'm like, I'm not faulting people for that. But because I'm not a fan, I'm overwhelmed with it. I'm just completely overwhelmed with it. And so when when Annie went live and she was like, dude, if I hear that shit one more time, dude, if I hear that one more time, I'm gonna lose it. And that's how I feel. And it's not even my birthday. It would annoy me that it's on my birthday. It would absolutely annoy the hell out of me that it's on my birthday. So every birthday, I'm just gonna have to like deal with. So no. So yeah, man. So when I texted her, I was just like, yeah, no, man, it's cool. Listen, if you can make it, great. If not, and then I sent her a gift that was like in Star Wars font saying, "May the Fourth be with you." And then she sent me a text back saying, "I hate you." And so yeah, and then I sent her a GIF saying that basically implying that I am the greatest troll of all time. Yeah, I'm with you, Cherry K, man. Like, I'm not, dude. Dude, the acting in all those movies is subpar at best. The only thing that's kind of mind-blowing about Star Wars is the idea behind it. Like, that's it. You know, the concept of Star Wars is pretty cool. And they put a lot of thought into certain things. Like, I remember I tried to read a Star Wars novel, and I just didn't understand it because of all the different like alien species that they mentioned and everything. And I'm just like, dude, that's nerd level that I'll never get to. That's just never gonna happen. I am the emperor of all things troll worthy. Dude, you have to be interested in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the cool thing is like you can watch The Mandalorian. I feel so bad for Star Wars nerds. Like, I feel bad for Star Wars nerds because who are like married, and then all of a sudden, because of The Mandalorian and the baby Yoda, the wives are now into the same shit that they're into. And they probably were always like trying to get their wives into it, but they probably regret it completely. Like, people take for granted like having something like that that's just theirs. Like, sometimes like a man just has to have something like that that's just his, you know. And now every time, bless any of these married men's hearts, man, they got to sit down and they got to explain the entire Star Wars concept to know anything and truly understand anything that's going on in Mandalorian. Boston actress. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch Yoda. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. When I was a kid, I loved Star Wars, and I was really excited when they made the prequels, episodes 1 through 3. I was super excited about that. I remember the first time I saw the trailer for Phantom Menace. I was on LSD and I was in the movie theater about to watch The Matrix. And that trailer premiered, and like the whole crowd, like the whole theater cheered when they saw that happen. That was such a big deal for a new Star Wars movie to come out. It was such a huge deal. And I'm not going to lie, I was super excited about it. And then when the next movie came out, dude, I think that whole theater was on acid. I'm not even trying to lie. Like, it was, people were laughing at the strangest things. Like gel tabs had just come out. They'd just become a thing. So like when something hits the streets, like, you know, and acid was just not around for years, for a while in Miami. And then all of a sudden, boom, like, Anna Brown, you did not have to pledge again for Patreon. It's okay. If you can't afford it, it's okay. I appreciate you. So yeah, so everybody, I mean, it can't be a coincidence that everybody in the theater had these laser pointers and they were pointing at the theater because those were a big thing at the time. And yeah, so I suspect that dropping acid and going to see The Matrix on opening night was probably a pretty popular thing to do among people my age at the time. We so when that trailer came out, man, the whole theater was cheering and everybody had a blast. And I'm not gonna lie, man, because I was a kid and I loved Star Wars, and Empire Strikes Back being the best Star Wars movie, hands down. I don't care what anybody says, it's easily the best one. Almost any Star Wars fan will agree with me on that. To see Yoda actually in a lightsaber fight was like the most awesome thing ever. Like, it looked amazing. It looked so good. Anna Brown, we were good anyway. We were good anyway, man. I appreciate you. If you see, I like Return of the Jedi too. I like Return of the Jedi too, man. But so yeah, man. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. See, being in that mind frame and watching a movie like The Matrix for the first time was I haven't been the same since. Just an FYI there. Dude, like, anybody here who's familiar with the movie The Matrix, like, again, not a great movie, but the concept is amazing. And the concept was a complete and total mind fuck, because yeah, I had no idea what I was going to see. I wasn't in a, like, Keanu Reeves wasn't in a place where his career was really being taken seriously so much at the time. Usually if Keanu Reeves was going to be in a movie at that time, it was probably going to be a subpar science fiction story. And so so seeing Keanu Reeves in this movie, that's pretty much what I expected. But I remember just sitting around in my apartment with all my friends and looking at the TV and saw the trailer for that. And I was like, how about we just take Mike's acid and go watch that? And everybody was like, that's a great idea. So we did do that. And and the whole time, I mean, it was in this dark, there was this really dark green tone throughout the first like 20, 30 minutes of the movie, at least 30 minutes of the movie, where you have no idea what's going on. You don't know how it's going to unfold. For some reason, Keanu Reeves' mouth got taken away. He had no mouth anymore. They stick this robotic thing in his belly button. I'm not gonna lie, when this acid was hitting me, I was like really uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was sitting there going, dude. And I suspect, like I said, a lot of people in the theater were in the same condition because they just kept going, oh my God, what is fucking happening right now? And And then the scene where Larry Fishburne explains the Matrix to Keanu Reeves and uses a battery as visual aid, I my heart dropped. I was like, oh my God, because what's so disturbing about that is it's not impossible that that's actually the case right now, right? And in that condition, in that mindset, it feels even more possible. And I was not, yeah, but you're redeemed. It suddenly becomes one of the coolest experiences to have on a hallucinogenic drug. It becomes one of the coolest experiences to have because for some reason now you're seeing a very intricate choreographed kung fu fight between Keanu Reeves and Larry Fishburne, who are not kung fu actors. They're not kung fu trained. And it was super, super fast. I was like, what am I watching? And that scene right there is the first time that it feels, you know, like the colors were normal. It wasn't all dark and dingy anymore. And so, yeah. Janessa P is an Aquaman girl herself. Hey, I'm an Aquaman guy myself, Janessa P, because I mean, the only way they can make that movie any better, I feel like, is if they just took out the entire cast except for Amber Heard. Just have Amber Heard in the movie alone, swimming, and the movie would have been better than it was. Absolutely. Mr. Anderson. Okay, this comment I have to read. Okay, hold on. I decided to cook a turkey on acid. Then no one wanted to eat. One time I locked the door so I wouldn't get out because I was a dead bust. Like I couldn't unlock it, I suppose. Wow. I mean, Jason Momoa, I kind of get it. You know, I mean, he's definitely got 10 times the talent Johnny Depp has. Absolutely. I mean, just by standing there and posing for pictures, Jason Momoa has more talent than Johnny Depp. Absolutely. I mean, Johnny Depp's performance in Edward Scissorhands doesn't even compare to Jason Momoa in the Conan the Barbarian remake. Dude, Mrs. R&B, keeping it real though, like I totally agree with you. I look at Jason Momoa and I'm just like, dude, like take a shower, bro. Like, bañate. Cochino, bañate. Jerry K. Jerry K is so funny. Dude, like I'm with you, Mrs. R&B. Like it wouldn't hurt you to throw a little Head and Shoulders in there, bruh. Like it's not gonna kill you, dude. Look at Oh my God. Let me see, Julie. I know actually someone needed to keep me from walking up to a cop with my eyes crossed. Man, you sound like a handful, dude. Like you're one of those people that I used to hate to trip with, man. Heather, whatever. Like you're that guy. you're that person that everybody's like, hey man, chill out, dude. Come on, dude. You are a heat up. You're what we call you're what we referred to as a heat up. Meaning you attracted unwanted attention with your weird behavior. I'd be like, nah, dude. Road King 01. That's an excellent point. Captain Jack Sparrow looked cleaner and he was a pirate. That's how I feel about like long beards, man. Like women go crazy over these long beards now, dude. I can't do it. Nicole H, thank you. Appreciate it. What was I just talking about, man? I forgot what I was just talking about. Oh, long beards. Yeah. Dude, yeah. I can't like my face. I could scrub my face with a half a bottle of shampoo for an hour, and having a long beard would still make me feel like my face is dirty. Like it just feels, having a big beard just feels like it's a nest for bacteria. I can't help but think that way, and I don't know why. So I don't, yeah, I can't do the long beards. Yet I can't stand not having any facial hair on my face at all. So I keep a pretty short trim beard for the most part. Yeah, I mean, seriously, dude, like I can't imagine a woman who wants to catch crabs from cunnilingus. Like that, I don't. I mean, nobody wants to catch crabs, period. But shouldn't that be the alternative to completely avoid it? I have not read the stats on beards. Dude, we're talking like the way that the way these trendy craft beer neck tattooed trust fund kids walk around with now. Sorry about that, guys. My internet dropped out. Yeah. Yeah, I got all kinds of technical issues, y'all. Sorry about that. But oh, is Aaron in here? What's up, Aaron? Y'all check out EKC People Suck. Can y'all hear me right now? Okay. Yeah, you can. Something's really okay. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah. Anyway. So what were we talking about? We were talking about dingy beards. Yeah, we were talking about, yeah. Somebody asked about beards and like how long of a beard are we talking about? We're talking about a long beard, man. Like something, I mean, to me, yeah, I don't know. It just looks gross. And it's just funny. And like I was saying, it's like it's always the you know, the tattooed neck, long beard, craft beer drinking trust fund kids that listen to the same music that I listen to, and I have to deal with these people when I go to shows. I mean, what's funny is most of the time they're cool people. They're fine, you know. I'm being a dick. Yeah, craft beards. I mean, that's a lifelong commitment right there, man. Like having that look, you know, that's a lifelong commitment, dude. You're getting a neck tattooed, man. I don't even have the guts to get my neck tattooed, man. You know, like, and I don't have some office job or nothing. Yeah, the flannel and the skinny jeans. Freaking Mastodon fans. Like new Mastodon, not good Mastodon. And it sucks, dude. Like I'm talking shit about this band, and it's a shitty thing to do because I've met Brent Hine from Mastodon, and he's actually a really, really cool, nice guy. Incredibly talented and a really, really nice guy. I don't know, man. Janessa P. I mean, I like a lot of different music, man. I decided recently, what's funny is I'm sick of music altogether. I never thought in the world that would ever happen. Like, because I'm sick of the music that I'm used to already, and I have no interest in any new music. So now when I work out, like I listen to like audiobooks. Right now I'm listening to Mindhunter, right? I talked about this before. That the book is awesome so far. It's really, really interesting to hear this guy. But all this guy's really doing is he's bragging the whole time. This guy's just been bragging about how he like broke the minds down of these people and how like some people didn't believe him, and you know. No, man, I'm saying Nicole H. I'm saying having a look like a I guess what are they, hipsters? That's what they're called, right? Hipsters. I mean, that's to go full hipster, that's a full-on commitment, dude. Janessa Pete. So what's the name of your husband's band? I'm curious. I'll check them out. What's up, Jessica Moon? Dude, when I was 18, 19, I had like a mohawk with long dreads. I hate that word, phantasmagorical. I hate that word, grunge. It's there's a great documentary. Like you'll know exactly what I mean by that statement. If you watch a movie it's a documentary, it's an old documentary, and it's called Hype. It's called Hype, and it is basically about the explosion of grunge. And it's ridiculous. And it's just a word that the press made up to describe music from Seattle. And right, Aaron Thurman, it does. And it's supposed to. That was the whole thing, is rock and roll was at a state of it was all about partying, it was hair bands, and hair bands was whoever looked the prettiest. I mean, the more you looked like a woman as a man, the sexier you were as a rock star, You wore makeup and all this stuff. Yeah, Julie Richmond is a good movie. It's fascinating. And I mean, but then all of a sudden Nirvana comes out. Like all of a sudden Smells Like Teen Spirit it reinvents popular rock and roll. It reinvents the entire standard, right? And then everyone from Seattle starts coming up. And this is the thing, is none of these bands that are considered grunge, you can't call it a genre of music. You cannot give these bands, all of these bands, you can't put them together in one genre of rock and roll, because none of them sounded similar. None of them did. Soundgarden didn't sound anything like Alice in Chains or Pearl Jam or Nirvana, none of which sounded like the other. No, none of those bands. So to me, it was ridiculous to put them under a genre. It's just rock and roll done in an honest fashion. These guys sat around, and got together in everybody's basements, in each other's basements, and made music because it's cold and rainy all the time. So that's all it is, man. You know what I mean? And then it turns into this thing. And really, it was just a good thing because it was the whole point. It was just bands making music honestly. And if you want to buy it, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. If it's not for you, that's fine. But they weren't creating something just to sell something. All of a sudden, it became cool to do whatever the hell you wanted musically. And that was a great time for popular rock and roll. But then, of course, what happens is the media will and record companies will destroy it. because then they start to have the next, everybody's looking for the next Pearl Jam, like Nickelback. You know what I'm saying? You know, the next Nirvana crossover Pearl Jam, and then they bring up these kids Silverchair. You know what I'm saying? And then it was just like, oh God. And then they just took this whole thing and just perverted it and twisted it to sell records and create these products of bands. And so it just went right back to what it was before. He's played with the singer from Anthrax to Sabotage, which is now TSO, and also with Aldo Nova, among others. Nirvana, Killed Rock. Just kidding. Alice in Chains, by the way. See, and what's really funny is the bands that these guys, the Seattle bands that these guys are heavily the most influenced by, nobody gives a shit or knows who they are. That's fascinating to me. Like, the fact that the Melvins are not one of the biggest bands ever blows my mind. And they want to be. Buzzo Osborne wants to be. He wants to be a big rock star. He's happy with what he's doing, and he acts the part. You see the guy on stage, and he's quite a presence. I can't believe I got all into talking about music. I mean, yeah. So I just, well, I don't think my audience would be very interested in it. I'm surprised so many people are still listening to me talk shit about music right now. I mean, it's really weird because there was a time where all I thought about was music. All I cared about was music. Literally all I cared about was music. And I played in bands with my friends, and I got to open for some bands that I really loved. And it was a fun time to do that. It was a real fun time to do that. But I mean, it's funny. And I would totally do it again. Like, if I had the means and the time, I would absolutely join another band just for fun and play local shows. And just play just really heavy, doomy shit. I love the doom. I'm a big fan of the doom. Like, I like really slow, powerful riffs live, really, really loud. Like, I like bands like Torch. Torch is a fantastic band. I got to play with them a couple of times. And when you see them live, your beer is vibrating in your hand from the bass. It's so good. It's so good. Torch actually, Torch was just doing really, really well, and then the pandemic hit. The pandemic came along. Torch had just played late night with Seth Meyers. I played shows with these guys. The front, as a matter of fact, the front man's cousin is one of my best friends. And like, they just played, they had just played before the pandemic. They played late night with Seth Meyers, and Seth Meyers tweeted that Torch was the, bar none, the loudest band to ever play on his show. Like, how cool is that? How cool is that? Um, I'm not a Megadeth fan at all. I can't stand Dave Mustaine's voice. I can't stand Dave Mustaine's voice. And he like but what's really funny is he's a really smart dude. He's a super smart dude. And they were having like celebrity rock and roll Jeopardy one time. It was just like 20 something years ago, at least. And Dave Mustaine was on there, and he was hilarious, and he was really good at it. Like, he was getting every single answer. But like Moon Zappa was one of the people on there, and she was a total airhead. Like ridiculous. Yeah. But it was really funny to watch. No, it's not The Torch. It's just Torch, Heather, whatever. And I can't highlight your comment. I don't know why it's not letting me. There's a Japanese band that I really love, and they're called Boris, like as in Boris Karloff. They're called Boris. I have no idea what they're saying because I don't speak Japanese, but they're a fantastic band. Most of the music I listen to, I don't even. Dude, yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I appreciate you sticking around through that, though. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but yeah, I'm real picky when it comes to music. That is for sure. I am really, really picky. Uh um so tell you guys a fun story. Tell you about the time that I had a one night stand with a racist girl, and I didn't know she was racist until after we had had sex. So um so before and right after I had my son living with me, not anymore, but before and right after that, I had a I enjoyed the company of women, but very, very, very picky about who I was going to end up in a relationship with. So I slept around a lot, put it that way. And this one girl comes over, you know, text for a while and talked a couple times. And, you know, and then she comes over, and we'd both been drinking. And so we so we ended up, you know, I mean, she was hot, you know what I mean? But we ended up having sex and it was pretty damn good, you know, and then and then we're laying there and I throw on Hulu, right? Turn on my PS4, I turn on Hulu, and I'm just like trying to find something to watch. And this kind of personality I didn't see when we were having sex, you know, we were just having sex, you know what I mean? Like, so I didn't, you know, but this type of personality was, I mean, all of a sudden she became the most annoying person on the planet. And she's sitting there and she's going, "What are you doing turning on the TV? Let's listen to some music, man. I got my phone here, man. I got an iPhone, man." And I'm just like, holy shit, what did I do? You know, how do I get out of this? Because I didn't want to like boot her out. I didn't want to like be that guy, you know? I hate doing that. I almost will never ever do that unless like something like this takes place. But so I was sitting there and I'm just like, you know, I'm at this point, I'm just passive aggressively I'm gonna troll her, you know, like I'm turning up the TV. She's yapping about wanting to listen to music, and she's, you know, and she wants to listen to music through her phone. I'm like, man, I don't want to listen to music through your phone, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know, and I don't want to sit here and talk to you, really, because I'm realizing you're, you know, this is awful. This is an awful experience already. And she's Aaron Thurman, you're right. And this is probably about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. Definitely at least 3 years ago. 4 years ago, maybe. And so check this out. No, Heather, whatever. You'll see. Watch. So, and this is in Atlanta. This is when I lived in Atlanta. And she was just getting on my nerves. So I put on La Bamba, right? With the Richie Valens movie, you know, with Lou Diamond Phillips. So I put on La Bamba. I'm like, oh, cool. Hulu has La Bamba, right? So, and I love that movie. I've seen it so many times. It's a great movie. Richie, right? So yeah. Anyway, so this lady, she's here. I mean, she was probably like 4 or 5 years older than me. But she's hammered drunk, and she's really, really. I'm realizing that she's an awful drunk, and she's like, "Come on, man, let's listen to some music, blah, blah, blah," like really obnoxious. And I'm just like, she's like, "Look what bands I got." She's like, "I got Avenged Sevenfold. You like them?" And she starts playing. I'm like, "Nah, no, I don't like them at all." She's Nickelback. She's just playing one band after the other that I'm just like, no, I can't. These are bands I hate. I can't stand the sound of them. I can hear when a band plays. I can hear when a band is produced in order to sell music. I can hear that in a band apart from a band that is making music out of the genuine experience of making music and creating joy. in one way, shape, or in one way, shape, or form, any way, shape, or form. So she's naming all these bands that just, mainstream, that you just shove down your throat. And I couldn't stand any of the bands she was naming. And then she's like, and this is playing, and she makes some comment saying something about a spick, and I'm Hispanic, right? But this is great. This is great. You guys are gonna love this. So, so she's looking at. She makes some comments regarding spick or whatever, and I just kind of blew it off because I'm in Atlanta. Some ignorant bigotry is bound to happen, I guess. Doesn't necessarily make someone straight up a racist necessarily. And she's going, well, what bands do you like? Oh, don't tell me you like that N-word music. And then I was like, whoa, right? So right there, breaks, and I'm thinking, no, Linda Lou, I was straight up trying to watch La Bamba, dude. I was straight up trying to enjoy that movie, man. She just wouldn't shut up. She would not shut the fuck up. And she goes, what do you like, that N-word music? And I was like, are you a racist? I just asked straight up. And she goes, shit, yeah, man, I'm a damn racist. Fuck N-words, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there. She's in my bed naked, talking to me like this. And I'm like, so do you know where Dominican Republic is? And she goes, no, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. What is that? And I said, well, it's a country on a small island, and it's right next to Haiti. And people from the Dominican Republic generally have very dark skin. And I said, I'm Dominican. And she just sits there frozen, looking at me, shocked. Right? And I'm like, so I have cousins that are dark. My hair is generally pretty kinky if I grow it out. I tan very well because of the the melanin in my skin. So do the math. So somewhere in my bloodline, there's black, and you just had a big fat dick of it. And she started crying. She started sobbing right there. She started sobbing right there. And I started laughing like a fucking maniac. I don't think I ever laughed so hard in my life, because there's this naked woman in my bed that just found out that a Hispanic man had sex with her, and she couldn't figure out that I was Hispanic. That she just had very decent consensual sex with a Dominican man. And she was crying over this, and I laughed like a maniac. I thought it was hilarious. Dude, I'm cracking up. She gets up. She's like, stop laughing. I can't fucking believe this. Stop laughing. And I'm cracking up, and she goes over to my toilet, and I can still see the toilet from my, totally Julie Witcherman. I can see her sitting on the toilet from my bed, and I'm like, hey, you can't use that toilet. That's a blacks only toilet. Get off of there. And I'm cracking up as I'm telling her this. She's bawling. Oh my God. She calls somebody. I need you to come pick me up. Blah, blah, blah. And then, I'm sitting there laughing, She gets dressed. She leaves. I'm still laughing. I was speaking Spanish to her, Jeremy. I I did. I did that. Yes. And she so she left the apartment mad. She started texting me with, "You're gonna be hanging from a tree, N-word, blah blah blah. You don't know the people I know." And then I was just like, dude, you realize that you're sending me threats via text message, right? I was already starting to follow true crime. And I was like, you realize you're sending me threats via text message, right? So if anything happens to me, you're going to be prosecuted for it. Thank you so much for the evidence. And then I just never heard from her again. And that's one of my most prouder moments. That's one of my most prouder moments. I mean, the subject never came up. You know what I'm saying? When I'm texting with her, and I wasn't texting with her that long. It was one of those situations, dude. We met on a dating site. We exchanged numbers. We texted. She sent me a couple of pics, and then I invited her over. She was down. Dude, I didn't do anything unethical at all. I did absolutely nothing unethical. The subject of race never came up in the first place. She came over to my house with the intention of having sex with me. We engaged in consensual sex. And then she was mortified only afterwards because she found out that I was Hispanic after the fact. So where did I do anything unethical in this entire scenario? That's why I was laughing as hard as I was. Exactly, Linda Lou. I was like, you just had big black dick all up in you, technically. She was mortified. She was absolutely mortified. Like her family would kill her if they found out. That's how she acted. This is a grown-ass woman, dude. She was like 45 years old, bro. You know? Exactly, Kangaroo. That is the cliff notes. That is the cliff notes of what happened. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for her in the slightest bit. Like I said, that was one of my more prouder moments. I ruined her streak of only sleeping with white Anglo-Saxon rednecks. Dude, yeah. I mean, she was mortified by it, dude. Like that's what I couldn't get over. I was like, are you seriously crying about this? Oh my God. Dude, I don't want to, yeah, never mind. I'm just saying for her, the sex was really good. That's all I'm saying. And that had to have some sort of that had to play some sort of actual into her being so mortified. Like it's yeah. It had to have played into that. And I mean, yeah, I don't feel bad for her, dude. That was a grown woman who got into a very consensual situation and just got pissed at how it turned out. It's not that. See, it's not about that. That's how you know she's a real racist, man. It's not it. She wasn't upset about that. That's somebody who's just like, oh man, I can't let my family know that I'm not a racist. No, it wasn't like that at all. This was somebody who felt like she had violated her own body by willingly sleeping with a Hispanic guy unknowingly. Like she genuinely felt tainted. And right, Joanna Australia, that's what I'm telling you. And it was, yeah. It's, yeah. And that really got to her. That really got to her. I've never actually seen pure racism like that to that extreme. I've never experienced racism like that. And I was just unbelievably tickled that I was able to twist the situation to work in my favor. Because I was disgusted when I heard her use the N-word the way that she did. I was disgusted. The spick thing didn't even bother me, I guess. You know what I mean? Maybe because I'm Hispanic and I guess it's my, it's up to me to be offended by it or not. But it didn't it didn't offend me when she used the N-word the way that she did in such a aggressive manner, talking about music. And when you think about what the people of color have done for music throughout history, you can't have anything but gratitude. So for her to sit there and make it seem like it was some sort of horrible thing to, it offended me. It made me mad. It really disgusted me that she was so dismissive of any type of music created and performed by people of color. So that really, really irritated me. And when it occurred to me to let her know that she just willingly got sexually burned the fuck down by someone that she has been raised to despise simply because of their race. That was gold to me. That was magical. That was a magical moment for me. And I cherish it to this day that it took place. That in its own right, in its own little category, is the best sex I ever fucking had. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end it with that. Jerry K. I'm going to end it with that. I love you guys, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.